Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday. I am Dr. Johnny, and join me with episode 4 of Fitness Fridays Season 2. Today we're going to be going through an awesome topic, which I think a lot of people are impacted by. And so what I want to first show you is we're going over tight hip flexors and weak core and how this complex of the anatomy of your low back and your hips and your SI joints play into your everyday biomechanics, how we walk, how we sit. And so when someone has tight hip flexors, as you can see in the x-rays, not only can it shift your hips out of alignment, right? Everyday alignment, that's going to be something that we see with so many patients I work on. The goal is to look balanced, but with tight hip flexors, they can set your entire body up for injury. And so this problem is extensive with sitting. How many of us sit for long periods of time? Sometimes I do, right? But when we sit, our hip flexors are tightened and then shortened. So when the hip flexors, the main muscle I'm always looking at is the iliopsoas or the psoas muscle. It's one of the biggest ones that functions with hip flexors. And so when that gets tight and short, your whole body can be set up for trouble and injury, specifically low back pain, knee joint, hip imbalances. And so today what I wanted to go through is some different stretching and strengthening things we can do to help make that not happen. And so the first one, we've done standing hip raises before, right? We're going to always do 20 to 30 reps here. I'll lower this so we can see better. But for this first one, standing hip raises are going to be more complex now because I want you to stretch your hip flexor while we're doing it. So we're going to go for 20 here, but this is the starting point. Arms are up. Remember Buddha belly. We're going to be using core here too because our core is obviously part of the dysfunction when it comes to imbalanced hips, right? So you're going to first sit here, feel the stretch of how tight that hip flexor is, but we're going to do 20 standing hip raises, which means I'll go this even lower so you can really see my form because this is one of the best ones, I think. We're going to start here, arms up, and then stand up into a hip raise and see where your balance is and then go back down, right? And then you need to be fluid in this motion. Now, speed isn't necessarily the biggest thing here, but every time I want you to feel the hip flexor stretch, but then also feel that you can strengthen that. Now, for some of you, your hips are off balance, right? One hip's higher than the other. So I want you doing twice as many of the hip raises on the side that's lower, okay? So let's say my left hip is low. What I want to focus on then is we're here, I'm doing my stretch, and then 20 times, you're going to come up and really feel like you're working and stretching that area of the body, okay? And then every time, take a deep breath and relax. So then the next one then is the hip flexor stretch routine. Now for that, basically I've done this with a number of patients, but this is a good cool down after. We hold here, tight hip flexor. We're going to stretch the quads and some of the IT band here too, as well as the piriformis muscle, but it's the whole hip complex. So 20 to 30 seconds here. We then pull across our body. You want to stretch into this muscle here, 20 to 30 seconds here. Then it's called a figure 4, where we're here, and I'm pushing down and up into this complex, feeling where the tight muscles are, and seeing how I can use my core and my breathing to help strengthen this area. It's so important that you know that. And then lastly, we grab our leg and pull up to our body, and that's going to stretch the piriformis. Now, that's a good complex to work on, but now, like I said, core is so important. So I want you to focus on core next, which is going to be doing penguins and then side planks. So penguins, let's say my right hip is low, right? What you want to focus on is strengthening the oblique on the opposite side. So my right hip is low. That's how my dysfunction is. So I'm going to do 30 penguins to the left, and I'm contracting this oblique. I'll show you on this side, same thing. I want to contract this muscle. So I'm here, and I can even put my arm up to really focus on that. To make it easier, you bring your foot, or to make it harder, bring your feet further and closer together. Now I'm really stretching and having to reach down and contract this muscle while stretching the opposite side. Whew. I'm losing my breath. I hope you guys are too right now. The next one I'm going to do is side planks then. So let's say that my right hip here is the same problem, or the left hip here is my low one. I want to strengthen my right side and my left side here. So we're going to do plank drops. So you go up, you're on a good plank, and you drop your hip and you raise it. Drop your hip and you raise it. And like I said, I want you guys to do 20 to 30 reps here when it comes to these exercises, but you're going to feel it. You're going to really feel it. Feel the hip flexors, level those hips up. I want to make sure anytime I take an x-ray of you, if you come into the clinic here, I want to make sure your hips are leveled, right? Let me get this straighter. I'm going to make sure that my hips are leveled and not off balance. All right. So you guys are hoping having an amazing week. And for the rest of the week, if you have any more questions, we've been a month in already. So I hope you guys that are going to be having an awesome weekend. Stay fit, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.